It feels like, man, when we're saying, hey, Samoa Joe and Booker T, let's do that again. Let's do this 6-man again. Let's have Dutton Lethal keep their thing going. It doesn't feel like we're starting a lot of new stuff here, Jeff. It feels like, all right, we're going to do the same thing. Let's just change the gimmicks or the circumstances surrounding the match. Was that important? I mean, I know that once upon a time we used to build pay-per-views back in the day based on a quarter. You know, the Royal Rumble, and then a few months later you get WrestleMania, and then a few months later King of the Ring, and then a few months later SummerSlam, and then a few months later Survivor Series. But then it all changes. Now we're doing monthly pay-per-views. Did you find that more challenging, or did you still try to stick to, we want the 3-month story arc, we'll just have big matches along the way, build to the big blow off? Is that sort of the structure?
In broad strokes, you kind of have to. I was thinking about the kind of the numbers game, if you will, Conrad, and it's come up. We touched on it earlier, and we were just kibitzing, Wembley, all in, all out, back-to-back weeks. We were doing the monthly pay-per-view grind. And look, when it launched, and our man, EB, launched that in 95 in WCW, my guess is his roster was probably 80, 90 guys, maybe. I don't know. Let's just say 80-ish, whatever. WWF, they went and they still kept the big four and the monthlies, and Vince went with that in your house branding. When you look at our roster, and I think we had around 30 to 40 guys, you almost by design, it's impossible to come up with new matchups and everything that goes with it. Our business it's so difficult. It's just really not built that way. There's, going into the gaming business, and something that has just shined such a light on it is that this game has been in development, WrestleQuest, from day one, 4 years plus or minus, something like that. And then they come out of the gate. So all the build has been toward one event. Well, in music, you put out an album and you go on tour and hope that you pay dividends. And then the next year, hopefully you have another album goes out, the music business, but you can always play your hits. Wrestling is in sports, you have the different seasons and new team, new coach, new players, new set of circumstances. Yes, you have your rivalries, but there's nothing like wrestling. 52 weeks a year. Now look at, 6 nights a week, you have all the content on. And if you don't really have a super, super deep roster, it is a real challenge to come up with compelling storylines that bite. And hindsight's 2020. Somebody asked on that Reddit the other day, I don't know exactly what the question was, but I just think timing was a big part of TNA's good success. And then I think on the back end, not so good success. But, capital and funds, but a deep roster is so important. So yeah, it was 3-month storyline arcs, but you kind of had to build returns and up the ante and add a stipulation here and there. Super challenging, pal. I know I gave you a long-winded answer there, but when we do the pod here, man, it gives such a, I guess, pleasant, not so pleasant, being able to dissect these things. I think it helps me today to kind of learn from our mistakes, so many of them in the past.